Welcome back. Today we're gonna take on cooking up a nice, beautiful tri-tip steak. So to get started, I'm gonna get this ready to soak in some marinade. This is gonna be a teriyaki flared marinade. So let's get started. We're gonna do a 1/4 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. In here, I've got 2 tablespoons of pepper, 2 tablespoons of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. So we got that in here. We're also gonna add a 1/2 cup of fresh lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1/3 cup, a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and a couple cloves of garlic. So I like to freshly squeeze that. Get that in here. What we're gonna do now is whisk this all together. And once that's complete, we're gonna transfer this into a Ziploc bag and let that nice 2.5 pound tri-tip soak in this. You can let this soak for marinade for an hour up to overnight. Today I'm gonna have it soaking for about 6 hours or so. Going to work and coming back, and we're gonna get this thing fired up. Perfect. That looks like it's pretty good. What I always do here is I like to take just a little bit out to use as like a baste or a dipping sauce afterwards. You don't want to repurpose it after it's been soaking in the raw meat. So we're gonna take this tri-tip. You should notice I've already trimmed a good portion of it. A lot of times a tri-tip, this side will be covered in a good layer of fat. For smoking purposes, I like to trim that down so it's nice and clean so that flavor can get in there and that smoke can get right into the meat. So we're gonna put that in the Ziploc bag and then add this nice marinade. And there we go. Here, we just make sure all the meat is in there. Take the air out. Yeah, here we go. 6 hours, I'm doing it today. You can easily do it overnight. And we're set. Okay, we've been marinating this beautiful tri-tip for about 6 hours. So now we're ready to take it out, get the excess off there. We're still going to season this because it never hurts to have plenty of seasoning. So let's do this. Gonna give it a nice coat. This is the Meat Church, the Gospel. Excellent multi-purpose seasoning that we use. So get it on both sides. And right now I have the Traeger preheating to 225 is what we're gonna cook this at. And it's gonna take about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the thickness of the cut. We want this to be at about 130, or if you like it a little more well done, 135 when you pull it off. So we're gonna get that going. After we pull it off, we're gonna wrap it in tin foil and let it sit in there for 30 minutes to finish the cooking and let all the juices reabsorb into the meat. So let's take it out to the Traeger and get it started. All right, I just put the tri-tip on and I put it fat side up. So as it cooks, a little of that fat will render into the tri-tip because it is somewhat of a leaner piece of meat. So that's why we like a little bit of fat in there, and the slow cooking process will make the meat more tender. So we're gonna keep that on. I'm gonna check it in about 30 minutes, flip it over. It's gonna take about 60 to 90 minutes, and I'm looking again for the 135. All right, we're about 45 minutes in. I'm gonna check the temperature and flip it over to the other side. Right here, right in the biggest part of the meat. We are at 102. We need to be at 130 for medium rare, 135, 140 for medium. All right, so we still got some time for sure. flip that over so fat side is gonna go down. There you go. So far that's looking real good. So we're at 102. And give it another 30 minutes and check. All right, we're back here. We've let the tri-tip rest for 30 minutes in this aluminum foil packet. So I'm gonna open it and start the cutting. Look at that right there. That is beautiful. All this juice down below. What we're gonna do, we're gonna keep this juice, and after I cut it, I'm gonna pour that goodness right over it. Key here, tri-tip, you'll see the grain. On this case, the grain is going this way. Tri-tip, you always wanna cut on the bias and against the grain to get the most tender cut. If you cut with the grain, it's gonna be a little tougher. You don't wanna do that. So here we go. I say invest in the electric cutter. It's very fun and easy to cut. So here we go. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. That is perfect tri-tip. I did the final reading and it got up to about 140 degrees, 142 degrees after the rest. Tri-tip, this is perfect. A little pink, but a lot of that too is the smoke that got inside. So this, in my opinion, is perfect. If you like it a little more done, don't take it off the grill till it hits about 140 or 145. It'll heat up to about 150. So keep that in mind. Let me know if you have any comments or questions.